In the peaceful Nigerian town of Oluma, people believed they had seen it all. Festivals filled with color, traditional weddings that drew in hundreds, and age-old stories that echoed across generations. But none could compare to the tale of Awele Maduka, the girl who went mad on the day she was supposed to be a bride. It wasn't just madness, they said. It was a possession, a curse, a reminder that some promises should never be made, and if they are, they must never be broken. But to understand how it happened, you must go back, far back, before the wedding, before the courtship, before the man named Obinna ever entered her life. Awele was born under strange circumstances. It was a stormy night. The power in the town had gone out, and Chief Maduka's compound was lit only by kerosene lamps and frantic prayers. After 14 hours of labor, Lady Ijoma finally gave birth, but the room fell silent. The midwife didn't cry out with joy. The baby wasn't crying. She wasn't breathing. She was dead. The wailing began immediately. Chief Maduka stumbled out of the room, holding his head, while Ijoma, weak from blood loss, screamed in denial. But what happened next was never officially documented. As the others mourned, Ijoma slipped out of bed, barefoot and bleeding, and walked into the rain, past the trees, past the edge of their land. She walked until she reached a place no one in Oluma dared to go, the grove of Ogunabali, an ancient forest shrine abandoned decades ago when Christianity took root in the town. Ijoma dropped to her knees before the weathered idol. She tore her wrapper and held up her arms, crying, "Take anything, take my name, take my life, just give me my daughter back." Then came the voice, cold, deep, ancient. "She will live, but on the day she is to be taken by another, she shall return to me." Ijoma paused. Her heart broke, but her desperation was louder than her fear. She whispered, "Yes." Back in the compound, the baby's corpse lay in a cloth on a table. But at that very moment, at exactly 3:06 a.m., a piercing cry rang out. The baby was alive. No one questioned it. They called it a miracle. They named her Awele Chukwu, meaning God's will. But it wasn't God's will. It was something else. Awele was brilliant. From the age of 5, she could recite proverbs no one taught her. She could sense danger before it happened. She told a neighbor once, "Don't travel today." And that same day, the neighbor's bus crashed. She claimed to dream of things before they occurred, and animals often followed her. The townspeople adored her, but they also feared her. They whispered, "That girl carries something." Her father, Chief Maduka, didn't believe in such talk. He was a modern man, a businessman, who attended international meetings and drank foreign wine. He dismissed all talk of spirits and fate. But Ijoma knew. She watched her daughter closely, waiting for the day the past would come knocking. That day came, 27 years later. Obinna was kind, hardworking, and honest. He had returned from Port Harcourt after years of building his career and came to Oluma to manage a local road expansion project. He met Awele at a book fair. She had come to buy African literature. He had come to donate. Their eyes met, and that was it. Obinna was smitten. Awele, after years of turning down men, felt drawn to him in a way that frightened her. He made her laugh. He understood her silences. He asked about her dreams. Within 6 months, he proposed, and Awele accepted. Chief Maduka threw a massive engagement party. Invitations went out to dignitaries. Awele's wedding gown was imported from Paris. Decorations were flown in. It would be a fusion of tradition and elegance. But then, the signs began. First, the mirror cracked in Awele's room, on its own. Then her favorite white dove, which she'd raised for years, was found torn apart on her windowsill. No blood, no tracks, just feathers and silence. The tailor who was fitting her gown collapsed during measurements and later said she had a vision of a river of blood flowing down the church aisle. Even the weather shifted. Thunderstorms rolled in without rain. The moon appeared during the day. Awele stopped sleeping. She would sit at the edge of her bed whispering, "He's watching me. He never left." 3 days to the wedding, Ijeoma finally told her the truth. Everything. The shrine, the bargain, the price. Awele didn't cry. She stood still for a long time and then said something that chilled her mother's blood. "Then it was never my life to begin with." June 15th. The compound was filled with people, musicians, cooks, photographers, friends and family, dressed in gold and red. Awele was seated before the mirror, being adorned in coral beads and makeup. But her eyes remained distant, cold. She whispered to the makeup artist, "I feel like I'm attending my own funeral." Suddenly, the sky darkened. No warning, no forecast. Guests murmured, but the ceremony pushed on. Obinna stood at the altar beaming. Awele's procession began. She stepped into the church, veil covering her face. Then, it happened. The madness unleashed. Awele stopped halfway down the aisle. Her body began to shake. People thought it was nerves. But then she dropped her bouquet and screamed. Not a scream of joy. A scream that split the air. Her eyes rolled white, her hands twisted backward. She dropped to the ground, crawling and laughing like a beast. People scattered. Children wailed. Someone shouted, "It's a demonic attack." And in a voice not hers, she roared, "You made a vow, woman, and now I've come for what is mine." Ijeoma fainted. Obinna rushed forward. Awele looked up at him with tears in her eyes and whispered, "Run, please, run. I'm not alone in here anymore." Then she let out a blood-curdling cry and bolted from the church, barefoot, veil flying behind her into the forest. She was never seen again. Days passed. Then weeks, then months. No body, no trail, no footprints. Just a single wedding shoe found by the ancient shrine, surrounded by withered flowers and dead birds. Obinna left Oluma. Some say he became a priest. Others say he still sends letters to her, hoping one day she will reply. Ijeoma was never the same. She never spoke again. Chief Maduka fell into debt and disgrace. And as for Awele, well, there are stories. Hikers say that if you walk near the forest on the night of a full moon, you might hear footsteps behind you, or a faint humming, the kind a bride makes when walking down the aisle. Some even claim to have seen a woman in a torn gown watching from the trees, her eyes glowing faintly. And if you listen closely, you will hear her whisper, "I waited too long to be free." Awele didn't go mad on her wedding day by accident. She was simply taking back her faith. Or perhaps it was taken from her long ago when her mother signed a deal in the dark. Either way, her story reminds us, some vows echo louder than love, and some brides walk down the aisle not toward a husband, but toward a haunting.